What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to yet another episode of StarChasers Girls Talk Ball. As you know, it's your girl Mickey, aka Craven Cowboys. I got my girl Star, aka Stargazer Sports Media. And we brought a very, very, very special guest with us tonight. Of course, welcome Cowboys Fan Talk, aka Rome in the building. What's going on, Rome? How you feeling tonight?
I'm pretty good. I want to say I appreciate y'all for bringing me on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all been doing y'all thing, and let's get to it.
Yeah. Just like you said, we just want to bring on another fire guest for you guys. And how you feeling? Nice start before we get started. Let everybody know how you feeling.
Feeling good, feeling great. Like Mickey said, we got the voice of the Cowboy fans with us tonight, Rome. So glad to have him with us. He was definitely a guest. We need to get Rome on here for sure. So thank you,
y'all.
Rome, for being with us tonight. Thank you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Dak owns Filthy, Swain,
Yep.
Eastside Herald, the number one Cowboys fan. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Before we get started, y'all, please like the video. Please like the video. Every time y'all like it, helps the algorithm and helps YouTube push out our content to get in front of more Dallas Cowboys fans. So please help us with that. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels if y'all haven't already. Feel free to donate, to our channel. I know Rome, he's been monetized, so y'all can give him super chats and we can read those. Then also if y'all would donate to Mickey and I's Cash App, y'all can see there is right there on the screen to help us. But we got a lot of content for y'all tonight, a lot to talk about, so let's get into it.
Yeah, like Star said, we got a lot going on. Actually, first of all, I'm gonna bring up, just talk about just some news that happened today. We heard, just like she said, major, key pieces that may have an effect on our season going forward. We heard about LVE. He's gonna be out for the rest of the season. Not really Cowboys related, but we've seen Kelvin Joseph be released, again this year, by the Dolphins. We see other news. Micah. Quote unquote had a statless game, but of course still effective. Me and Star kind of talked about that, kind of off screen a little bit, just about he can still be effective on the field, not necessarily, pad up the stat sheet, as you will. So just some major key pieces we're gonna touch on. Actually, if you want to touch on LBE, that could be the first thing we talk about. Star, where I kind of bring up this tweet about him from Michael Gelkin.
Yeah, so Jerry came out earlier this week, said LVE is out for the rest of the season. I think people kind of had suspected that he was probably not going to come back. Obviously, it's another neck issue. We know that's what he's been struggling with. And honestly, we were able to get, because he went down 2021 and we were able to, pretty much keep him for 2022, although he ended up getting hurt again. Actually, no, he was able to remain healthy 2021 because he played in the playoff game versus the Niners.
The 49er game. Yeah, that's one of his best games.
Right, and then he played again last. So yeah, he was able to stay healthy for quite some time, even though he did miss a little bit of time last year. Yeah. But unfortunately, and it's been debated. Was it a dirty play? Was it not a dirty play? I tweeted it. I said, yeah, it's dirty, but I think it's because Trent Williams is known in the league for doing that type of stuff, dog. Like, he's just a guy that he's a very, aggressive player. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, did he intentionally try to, in LVE's possible career? That's a stretch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to go that far. But, do I think that he was trying to hurt him? Absolutely. Like, I do think the 49ers, anytime that they play us, they're trying to inflict some type of injury or pain. You know what I'm saying? Now, within the context of the rules. But, I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I know Duke Manyweather came out. But, to be honest, love Duke. He's helped many of our linemen grow, but he be caping a lot for the offensive linemen. He always say, "Oh, this not their fault." So I'm like, okay, but I still respect Duke. I love him. Obviously, he's one of the best in the game at developing offensive linemen. So definitely no knock on him. But that was just my personal opinion. But obviously, LVE, listening to the players today, he's still in the locker room. A lot of the players, like Mark, especially the linebackers, Marquise Bell, what's it called? Damone Clark. Like, these are guys that see LVE as a leader, and these are guys that see him as a mentor, and they see him as a coach. LVE, he's a lot. People make parallels to Sean Lee. He is a lot like Sean Lee in that his body can't really do it, but when it comes to the mental side of understanding the game, he really understands it. So I think, and I put out a tweet today, and I said, y'all got to understand that lesser players with like physical capabilities can still teach, right? They can still teach. They can still coach. And I think, that is one of LVE's strong suit, the mental side. If he had that thumper attitude, everybody would love him. He's just not a thumper because he came from Boise State, where they playing what they say 11 on 11. So, so it's just different. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? But our prayers for LVE. I don't know if this is going to end his career or not. But whatever decision he makes, I hope that he's still able to stay around the Dallas Cowboys in whatever capacity, because I do think that, he's a player that the locker room loves and respects. So,
yeah,
I agree. I think that LVE, when I first saw the news, when I first saw the injury, the first thing I tweeted, if you go back and dig through my tweets, was I think he might have to retire. And it's not because of the particular injury, it's because of the amount of injuries he's had to his neck.
Right.
And I just figured, like, if I was in that predicament, I might at least consider it. Like, yo, I'm tired of, what I'm saying? And most people, whether you like LV or not, I know sometimes it's a hot button issue. What you got to realize is when you get that many neck injuries, it changes the way you play linebacker.
Yeah.
So there's been times where I think LV looks tentative. I don't think it's because, like, I think his rookie year, he was playing a little bit more free because he hadn't got injured again. I think every neck injury, every back injury, everything that he's had to deal with kind of takes a little bit of the velocity off of him attacking the hole and really hitting stuff. Like, how we see Marquise Bell get in there, like with reckless land. Even though he's small, he's reckless, but he's just in there. LV hasn't played like that in years because in the back of his mind, whether he wants to admit it, he's like, and if people don't think that doesn't affect athletes, they lying to themselves. We are just seeing it took Dak 2 years to get back to what he used to do after that ankle injury. And although we would see him run before, it had to be like a runway.
Right.
Like for him to be like, all right, I'll run now. And I don't know what happened after that Chargers game where he pulled the ball down. It's like a light went off in his head. Like, oh, okay, I can run. He's now playing more free.
Right.
And I feel like he's not thinking. A lot of Dak's problems, I think, have all been mental. And I know this isn't about Dak. I'm just saying, I think with LVE, even if he came back, I know people was like, we needed him. You would have got a shell of himself because he would have been tentative. Like, he just came off a neck injury. Can you imagine him put like this? We make to the playoffs and we run into the inevitable San Francisco game. And LV got to hit a hole and he see Trent Williams coming on a pull. It's all mental.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to be tentative. So I'm not happy about the injury. I really do hope that he heals up well and can live. If he does retire, he lives a great life. But I think he needs at least a year. He wouldn't have been good for us this season because of the type of injury and the position. Right. This is a neck injury and he is a kicker. It's different.
Right.
But linebacker, he gotta it's just too many times where he gotta run into the hole.
You gotta have to lead. Yeah, you have to lead with that. Yeah.
So it's weird. I'm not happy he's injured, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know if him coming back later in the season would have been good for us because of the type of injury. So it's one of those things where heal up. Maybe we'll have this discussion in the offseason. But right now, I'm like, I don't know if I would have wanted him back because I don't need the type of teams we're going to be playing in the playoffs. I need you to be fully engaged, not thinking
got to be physical.
Yeah. And to your point, CFT, just kind of piggyback on what you said. Like now that everything's kind of been resolved, we can kind of fill those roster spots for one, and also kind of Dan Quinn can kind of plan really for the rest of the season. He doesn't have to. It's not really up in the air on whether or not he's going to come back or before we got the news, it was a matter of when. But now that we know, what it's going to be, along those lines, now we know what we can do with Evans. Now we know what we can do with the defense. Now that, Clark is going to step in, and step up. Marquise Bell as well. So we Dan Quinn having a little bit more of just a little bit more foundation to be able to build his scheme off of.
You know what I found funny though about our team? We are sometimes, because we're stubborn and we're I don't want to call it loyal to a fault, but we're rigid in our roster moves sometimes. And sometimes we get helped by injuries more than hurt, because we do have sometimes players that are in line to play that just can't get on the field because we are just like stubborn about it.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I think Evans really might. It's not that Evans is going to be light years above LVE, but what he is going to bring to our defense is something that LVE hasn't been doing in a long time, which is just a physical force. Evans ain't got no problem with getting in there and disrupting stuff. And the types of teams we're going to be playing, Philly like to run. Detroit likes to run. They got two backs.
Yep.
And
Detroit.
And, Seattle too.
Seattle, yeah.
So
all of them running teams.
They all want to run and build the pass off the run. And we need linebackers. We see that Marquise. I feel like we're going to be a whole different linebacking, tackling type team. Like when we run in the San, I'm gonna just say it because I'm not even going to run from it. When we run in the San Fran again, I just feel like we moving differently than we did before. Now we didn't have that much trouble in that game with stopping McCaffrey, but I feel like the next game we're gonna play a little bit more emotionless, if that makes sense. We was too emotional. We was out there Carl Thomas last time. They was too emotional. They was over pursuing. I feel like we approached that game like it was going to be a real genuine fist fight, and not a football game. They weren't ready for football. They were ready to just fight. And I was like, hey man, that's great. But they X's and O's it up. Like we was all over the place because we was so ready to fight.
Right.
And I think this time I feel like, I don't know if it's the edges off, like, because after you blow somebody out like that, the next game, you kind of play more loose because you like, I mean, I already seen the worst.
What's the worst? Exactly. What's the worst that could happen? Yep. Right. And I agree with that too. Like, just piggybacking what Rome said about the injuries, we are a team where you really don't see another player taking another player's spot unless there is injury. Now, however, a conundrum is the Michael Gallup thing, because we haven't seen this type of it's basically this is about as close to benching as you're going to see in Dallas Cowboy land, where you have a player getting majority of the snaps, and then every week you just see their snap count just get lower and lower. Michael Gallup, like I think it was last week or the week before last, he had his lowest snap count that he's had since he got in the league in 2019. And I had pulled up, I have the snap count. This was the first game too that you saw Tolbert, who everybody's been asking for to surpass him, which Tolbert this week had 62% of the snaps. He had 48 snaps.
Wow.
Michael Gallup only had 37.
You know what's funny?
I believe Tolbert. Oh, I'm sorry. Go 60.
So, no. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think Tolbert. I think in the Eagles game, I think he only had like 41%. I think of the snaps in the Eagles game. So for him to go from 40%, essentially, to 60%, or what did you say? What did you say? Star 60%, 80%?
Yeah. So in the versus the Eagles, are you asking for Gallup or Tolbert?
Tolbert.
So versus the Eagles, he had 41% of the snaps. So he had 31 snaps. So he literally went from the Eagles game to the Giants game. Tolbert went from 31 snaps to 48 snaps.
Wow.
Yeah. And Gallup, he's just steadily been, week 8, he had 33, week 9, 36, week 10, 37. So it seems like, compared to week 2, he had 63 snaps. Week 3, 56. So his snaps have dramatically decreased. So this is the first time we've actually been able to see this. So with these injuries, you are seeing guys that are actually like Rome said, you are seeing Evans. Like Evans actually got actual tips.
I think they got word from the doctor, and that's why he got snaps this week. I think it was like, hey man, we gotta play him because we gonna need him.
Yeah, and it was his last application too. So
and
it was a good way to see what we had in Evans, really to his full potential before we, commit to either signing him to the roster or not.
Right, and obviously we got to expect, because I do expect him to be signed to the roster, which means go ahead. What?
No, I was watching Vach earlier, and they made a great point. Vach and Scott, shout out to them. They said, "Hey man, when did Fihoko get a knee injury?"
That.
I was like,
I don't know.
Inactive.
No, but I know football. I know you don't want to say this happens, but it happens. A stash is coming, right?
Yeah,
they're like, we're not going to lose.
That's a good point.
So all of a
sudden, they did that last year. Yeah. Who did they stash? They stashed Simi Fehoko last year. They do that where they'll just say, "Oh, he's got an injury. We got him. He's out for the season. We got to put him
hurt right now." So watch him get deactivated. We're gonna sign Evans, and then I'm telling y'all right now, to y'all point with the injuries with Gallup, there's two types of things in sports that motivate you, but it ain't no motivation like about to lose your job.
Right.
There's talking about it, and then there's you see this 6'4" receiver walking around,
right,
talking about I ain't lose a step. So we don't.
And your staff's going down at the same time.
So we don't get to see Martavis Bryant, right? And I'm not even saying he's anything yet. I know he's signed to our team,
right?
But if you in practice and you've been able to I'll call it entitlement. He's been entitled for the last 2 years. I know he was hurt, but he ain't had no fire on his back because he's like, Tolbert ain't taking my spot. But Tolbert and Bryant, at the end of the day, Tolbert got leeway. He still got about 2 more years under contract. He ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So you could just kind of do what you want with him with the Cowboys. But Michael Gallup's contract is not guaranteed next year. I know they did some restructuring, but it ain't enough money to really be nervous about. So my point is, he sees Martavis Bryant walking around, and look, he ain't dropped nothing last week, did
he? Nope. And somebody, look at what this guy's saying in the chat.
I know you're not.
Exactly. He's not dropping a single pass. But see, shout out to Big Dow in the chat. He said Gallup does better with less, and I think that's exactly right. When you don't, Gallup is a guy that you want to be able to go to at random moments in the game for an explosive play downfield. He's not a guy that you want on drags and slants. Drags and slants, those are routes that are predicated for what? Yak, right? So you need somebody who can give you that. Who can give us that on this offense? CD, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert. Those are the guys that you want to get drags and slants to and crossing routes, because these are guys that can get a lot of yak. Michael Gallup's just not that guy. So I think exactly how we're using Gallup is exactly how we should continue to use him. Target him a few times in the game.
You'll get 3 targets a game.
Exactly.
3 targets a game.
Max maybe 5. Right. I don't want to see him targeted more than 5 times.
Everybody was saying, it's Lamb Cooks first. That's it.
Correct.
And then you eat where you get in where you fit in. Lamb got to get 12 targets a game at least, because he's on a heater right now. Now Cooks is heating up.
The way he came back and got that ball that Dak was supposedly throwing away, that shows that their chemistry is on fire. Like just like the announcers say, it shows when you're hot. Like when you're hot, you're just hot.
You got to feed Cooks now too.
Yep, absolutely.
Those two eating will open it up for Ferguson more than it's
going to open it up for everyone.
So
exactly.
Gallup, you getting that 3, and you better be happy with that 3.
Exactly.
And you better be happy with that 3.
Exactly. You better be happy with that 3, and you better make the most of it. And I think this has worked out perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Because when Gallup was getting all the snaps, there was no pressure. He kept dropping the ball. Somebody had in the chat, is it time to sit Shoemaker? We may see Shoemaker snaps decrease once Hendershot gets back, because all of a sudden Hendershot's practice window is opened up and he's about to come back. All of a sudden out of nowhere.
Full participant. I'm like, already coming off of that's. I was surprised to see that.
Nah, I'm okay with Spoon sitting down. He can go. he does one or two things. He makes the offense predictable. He can't catch right now, so when he comes on the field, they know we run it.
Right.
Yep.
We can't run proper 12 personnel because when he does go out for a catch, now it's just like, yo, he ain't gonna catch it. Like, I wouldn't even respect him. So and it's okay. You just ain't what we want you to be yet. You know what I'm saying? You got some of the attributes. Go hold it down. Bring back, because Hendershot can stretch the seam. He's faster than Ferguson. So
that's true. But
now,
he
got one drop in him before I put McEwen back in, because he be dropping the ball too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
don't got a lot of leeway with Hendershot. He better not drop no passes.
Right. Exactly. Like, he don't have no leeway. That's my only issue with Hendershot. We know he got the physical capabilities, but it's like, we can't have you on the field, bro, because we know you're not a blocker. Period.
Right.
Like, you don't block, bro. So if you're going to be on the field, you got to be catching passes. And if you look at the beginning of the season, we gave him plenty of shots in the red zone, and he just not executing them.
Yeah, now, so he seeing him as early as training camp. That's a little discouraging as well.
Right. He didn't have a good camp either. I'm gonna be honest. I said he wasn't gonna make the roster because I said he's not playing well.
My man got hurt.
Yep.
Oh right. Yeah, Stevens. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna take his spot next year. He just hurt. Yeah. He'll be back. Him and Overshown. You got 3 starters in the tuck. Overshown.
Right.
Dig. Like, we got people coming back. So these other dudes need to play hard because they auditioning for another team. They ain't going
exactly.
Right.
Absolutely. Like, Henny, his leash is very short. Obviously, I think they're gonna try to get you. I don't know what it is with Schoon. I mean, I don't know, because at this point we're only targeting him once a game. I mean, he's literally getting 1 target a game, and they're just trying to get him a little bit acclimated, like simple stuff. Like, if you even look at the goal line drop, which I agree should have been not drop, sorry, it wasn't a drop, but it was a catch, but then they said it wasn't a touchdown versus the Eagles. But if you look at that, it's like, Schoon, like, they're asking you to do simple, very little. They're not asking you to do anything astronomical.
That route is a walk-in if it's Hendershot, though. You know why? Because Hendershot is faster than him. So that route, what's his name? The guy for the Eagles.
Blankenship, Reed
Blankenship wouldn't have been able to make up. And Blankenship ain't slow, but the way that route was ran, like, I'm not trying to hate. I know he was interfered with and all that, but when he breaks out of that route, Hendershot is more twitchy than Schoon. So he would have kept the ball clear. He wouldn't have been even touched. Yeah, Schoon is so slow. That route was all rounded. You seen what was about to happen.
He kind of, in my opinion,
but the thing is,
I was just gonna say, I think he just kind of, I think maybe, I'm not gonna say he was nervous or anything like that, but I just think, like, with him being young, he's a rookie. I just think him having a goal line shot right there. I know we've been to him before. I know he had the touchdown attempt that he also did drop. But I just think he just maybe was just a little bit amped up, getting the ball. And
really, the fans was on him
real quick. Like, I just think he couldn't help himself, honestly.
It was loud. He was a little nervous, and that's fine.
He was nervous.
Yeah,
he was nervous because that was a we need to score here at all costs. And Mike said he didn't end up running the right route. Because to me, I don't think it's that Schoon is slow. I mean, when you look at his RAS and all of that type of stuff, he's pretty fast for a tight end.
He plays slow. It's because he's thinking too much. He plays.
He's playing slow, and he's overthinking things, which is causing him to just drop. He's dropping like what you would call a long handoff. Like, he's dropping he's dropping just simple stuff. And so I think at this point, the game is just seeing, when it comes to pass catching, it's like the game is now he's blocking, he's doing all that great. But when it comes to pass catching, it's like it's too big for him, and it's just,
I agree,
it's freaking him out. So y'all remember he missed training camp. Remember, because he got hurt. He had that plantar fasciitis, so he missed training camp. He barely played in preseason. He's just behind. He's behind significantly. So I think, at this point, we probably do need.
They can use that. They could just say he's behind. We going it don't got to be disrespectful. Yo, hey man, he ain't right yet.
He's just behind. Yeah, exactly. And I do think, it is time to, if we can put somebody. But y'all saw remember when we got Eric Saubert? I think they were trying to see if they could bring somebody in who could block and who could also catch a couple of passes. But as soon as we put Saubert on the practice squad, he got taken off immediately.
Yeah, so quickly. Yeah.
That ruined that plan. So I think, they are trying to figure out what to do with Scoon because he's just not performing. I mean,
that's why they're not dropping. They're not going to drop Fihoko to the practice squad. That's why this is a fake injury. Because people watching our players. They know if they drop Fihoko to the practice squad,
he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's going to be gone immediately. We know at this point, we can't cut, any players that we want, stuff like that, we cannot cut them or put them on the practice squad because they will be gone. They will be gone. So we just can't afford to do that anymore. So, but anyway, what's this next topic we got up here?
We're gonna talk about just the usual topic. Dak turning up against these teams. You know what I'm saying? Dak, of course, Dak played on fire, and I just kind of wanted to make a play off the title. Like I know that people talk, last year called him the bus driver and the manager and things like that. But I think just this year he's proven that he's the engine that's driving this bus because. As we've seen in the Eagles game and as we've seen in these other games, really in the past month, even since they came out by. Dak has really just been the spark. Not saying we needed a spark, because there were definitely times in games where we needed a spark. But just not saying that he had to be the ultimate spark, but he just kind of kept these guys, getting these guys going, going to his multiple weapons, using different personnel, getting these guys, the young guys, for one thing, their confidence going. And with this past game, not saying Brandon Cooks needed confidence, but just kind of get him in the groove. We did use him in previous weeks, but just kind of get a continuous groove, for these future games, for these games coming up in these coming weeks. When we hit that stretch, against these tougher teams, that it's going to be a greater chance for CeeDee Lamb to be taken away. Even Ferguson, now that guys are kind of, see that teams are actually kind of catching on that Ferguson, is becoming that dude. I think, just having another weapon, not saying he needs to prove himself, but just having that chemistry built along with Cooks. So that way, like to Ron's point earlier, once we have those I think it's off camera, but once we get those three guys going, CD, Cooks, Ferguson, not in any particular order, but once we get those guys going and get their chemistry going, I think it's going to be lights out. Really, not literally, but I think it could potentially be lights out if we get the chemistry going with his guys.
Yep, I mean I agree with that totally. I think Dak said this is the most comfortable he's ever felt in an offense. And that's including, his lightning out of, lightning in a bottle rookie year that he had, right? And all the records that he broke and all that type of stuff. And, shout out to CJ Stroud, who's playing well, but he's probably the only guy in recent history that is having a year close to what Dak Prescott did. Obviously he's throwing for more yards and stuff like that, but, Dak also went 13-3 as a rookie and took down some powerhouses as a rookie as well. But CJ Stroud is also getting his signature wins. He just beat the Bengals and stuff. So congratulations to CJ Stroud. See, I did that for you, Eastside. You know what I'm saying? Right. So congratulations to CJ Stroud. But I will say this with Dak. Him being more comfortable has to signal that he really is in. And I put on our thumbnail, and I said Dak coast over West Coast because that's the Tex coast. Yeah, I said Dak coast over the Texas coast because that's what I think this offense is. I think that Mike has officially said, I'm going to put this offense in Dak's hands, and I'm going to let Dak do what he's most comfortable with and what he knows, what we all know as a team or as an offense that we can execute. And it's seeming that after the 49ers game, week by week by week by week, we really are building upon the offense. And then we're also now able to build out different concepts from what we've shown on film. And so it's just a lot of things that have been rolling. But I always knew, I think now since Dak's never has his destiny in his hands, it's always been, it was in Scott Linehan's hands, then Jason Garrett's hands, then it became in Kellen Moore's hands. Now he's like, it's in my hands. And I think this is the best thing for the team because not only is Dak playing lights out, which we already knew because Dak has always been at the top of the QB stats, right? The issue is the playoff wins, right? Can he get over the hump? And I do think if there's one person in the front office who still had some, I don't know about Dak, it's Jerry. I don't think that it was Steven or Will McClay or Mike McCarthy or anybody or the team. I think it was Jerry. And I do think Jerry went and got Trey Lance because I do think that Jerry got Trey Lance because he wanted to put some type of threat to Dak. Now, does it have a big threat? No. But when you go and get a guy who was picked number 3 in the draft, right? Number 3, in the draft, top 3 draft pick, obviously fast, has got a big arm, got all of this stuff that's sitting on the bench right next to you. When you have that, Jerry thought, okay, I want to put some pressure on Dak. Now, obviously, him putting pressure on Dak is obviously Dak is now, as he should be, in MVP conversations, obviously.
Right.
But I think if you've been listening to Jerry, I know a lot of people say don't listen to Jerry, but I do think you just gotta filter because Jerry says a lot of stuff to bring drama, but he also says stuff that he believes. So you can't just throw out everything that Jerry says. You just got to listen carefully. But if you've seen what Jerry has been saying about Dak consistently week after week, he's like, this is the best Dak has ever played. Dak looks great. It's amazing. He's amazing. He should be the MVP. You see, because Dak is making Jerry believe. And I think Jerry believed Dak's rookie year. But then when you started to see the ups and downs, then, of course, in Jerry's mind, he is like, can he take us there? I don't know. So I think that when he's like, okay, let me put it in Dak's hands and see what he can do. Let's see if he really about it. Y'all say, let Dak have it. I'm going to let Dak have it. And what Dak is showing him, I think it's all turning out better for the team. So that's my spiel on that. But, Rome.
I'll piggyback off what you're saying. I'll peel back a second. Second ago, you was talking about belief. You know what I'm saying? And belief is a powerful tool in sports. I think Dak has so much ownership or onus on this offense because I think that I don't know if you guys ever researched this thing called quarterback school that Mike McCarthy used to run in Green Bay, and he used to take his quarterbacks after every season. They used to go through every pass. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I don't think Mike McCarthy got to implement that type of stuff when Dak was when Kellen was there because I think it was like mandated by the Jones family. Hey, this is Kellen's show. So I think Mike McCarthy was hands up. But I think that Mike McCarthy likes to let his quarterbacks take ownership of the offense. So when we saw Dak Prescott in the preseason call that game, I knew then he had a full ownership and understanding of the offense because I saw how he called it. And I feel like he called it for like himself. What would I do in this situation?
Right.
How can I accentuate why am I forgetting his name? The quarterback that we lost, he played. I think he was.
Will Greer. Will Greer.
Will Greer's strengths. He called it like a great OC. So I was like, Dak understands his offense, but I think in the beginning of the year, this whole onus on we need to be more conservative. We're running this. It's a defensive team, etc. Yeah, and that was fine until it wasn't. But I'll tell y'all something. This is a hot take that I said on my channel a while back. I don't know if y'all got a chance to catch it. And I'm going back to your thing of saying belief. I don't believe every player, and like you said, Jerry Jones didn't believe in Dak Prescott. I think they know Dak Prescott had moments, but I don't think everybody had their full belief. And I don't believe that Micah Parsons believed in Dak Prescott fully about 3 to 4 weeks ago. I think that he supported Dak. He know Dak was a leader and everything like that. But my biggest thing that I do is I pay attention to nuance outside of the game. This whole Micah Parsons, Micah speaks from his heart. He wears emotions on his sleeve. So he ain't saying that he don't believe, whether you agree with it or not. So he not just coming out here because he would have been saying this about Dak Prescott. Like he would have been saying it when he got in the league. He used to say Dak's my guy and stuff like that. But
and he tries. I'm gonna cut you off, but he tries his hardest to not come off as biased too. So I mean, even with that list he had a few weeks ago about the best teams in the NFL, even not having his own team up there, and he's not always big up the Cowboys. So like to your point, he's not. We know he's not.
He's not gonna give it up if he don't believe it. I think the change happened for all of it. Not just it's not that the team didn't believe in him because I think it's players that believed in him. It's the Chargers game. I'm telling you, and I think something went off in Dak's head and something went off in the rest of the team's head. The way he started dealing in that Chargers game. When he pulled that ball down, he ran for that 19 yards. Yeah. And then the rest of that game, if you go back and watch that game, it wasn't just statistical, it was the way he was dealing. So you see that game, and then he rolls into the Rams game, and they had only given up 4 touchdowns the entire year passing.
Yeah.
And you could just see like the way he's throwing the ball, like on the move, stuff like that, his confidence level is raising. And then when you go to the Philly game, I think Micah and the rest of like some of the people, like not all of them, you go into that game like, all right, now, last time we seen Dak in front of the 49ers.
right.
It's on the back of your mind, I'm sure he was nervous. But when he watched his quarterback do something that I always know, I mean, you know, I'm president of the Dak fan club. I love Dak. You know what I'm saying? I got people that DM me like, yo, you owe people an apology because you made them most hated shirts and the media is loving on Dak right now. I'm like, no, them loving on Dak makes the shirt make more sense.
Yep.
Like people don't get it. That's another story for another day.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott in that Philly game, like everybody's saying this whole moral victory thing, it ain't really about that. It's about belief.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you see your player, it makes you lift your level of play. You know, like certain players make you play harder. Like when you look at Micah Parsons on defense, you're like, I got a Micah, right? And you play harder. He may, all the players around Micah play a little harder. I think for the first time in a long time, players is looking at Dak like, oh no, we got Dak and you don't. Like the way he been playing, I can tell. Like it's making everybody around him lift their level of play. Micah
lift their level of play.
Yeah, they hype. They like, nah, we got 4.
That's true. That's true, Ron. I was just thinking that. I'm like, wow, I really am seeing all the players from the way they're talking about Dak. Like, we need to
it's a little
better.
different.
We
like,
need to win for this man. We need to win for him. I haven't heard them say that type of stuff.
And I've been watching
we love
Dak.
Dak. He's a leader, right? We've never heard that from a player. So they're saying we need to win for him. He is this guy. Everybody pray. Put him in the MVP. It's like the whole from the front office down to the water people. You know what I'm saying?
Never heard defend Dak like that used to be Zeke because they was best, but they still best friends.
Right.
Everybody else would always be complimentary, like, you know, Ford's our guy. Ford I've clicked in the last couple of weeks, and everybody think I'm Homer guy, and then Rome, you just saying your normal stuff. I'm like, nah, this is a little different.
Yeah,
I ain't never seen players coming out outright being like, nah, the Ford's our guy, but the coaches are saying we need to win for him. It's a little different.
It's a different feel. It really is pushing belief. Like, I think the players really, honestly, when it talks about like that Brady effect, you know, because people like to say that like Dak's good, or old coaches, whenever they review Dak, they're like, he's good. He's not Tom Brady, but you know, he's a really good quarterback. And all this type of stuff.
This is the perfect way. Last year, when Dak threw an interception, they would always pan to the players, and the players would be like, Dak threw that interception the other day, and it looked like it ain't even happened.
Yo, after he threw that pick, he went right talking to Ferguson like, oh, so this, that, and the third.
But none of the players in their head, like last year, commercial break, like players used to be like, they looking at them, they all looking lost. The other day, it was like, yo, we all right, we good,
right? That's a great point.
Yeah, another thing I want to say now, when you talk about how this identity has shifted, right? This team identity, because before we was in off season. You know, Mike, make no bones about it. We a defensive team. We gonna
be lying.
Play He do.
Mike said, hey man, we good with Tony Pollard. He gonna get the majority of the carries. And Smooth went out there and was like, hey,
next
man,
week, Rico. Mike do be lying. Like they never gonna tell you.
I'm telling y'all, always think the opposite.
Believe the opposite. So he's like, we're gonna play that. But I do think that's what Mike. If you look at it, I think that's honestly what Mike was trying to do. But then when you realize, that's why I said after the 49ers game, I said, the 49ers is a mirror that we cannot dodge. We need to look in the mirror, and we need to be who we are, not who we're trying to be. We're not this power run. We're going to run down your throat. That's Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to play out the play action. We have a high-level quarterback. We have one of the best weapons groups in the NFL with CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Ferguson. That's who we are. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the perennial all-time running back anymore. We don't have that. What we do have is a top 3, top 2 quarterback, and we have top 5 wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, top 10, top 15. I don't know where you want to put Brandon Cooks. Ferguson, arguably top 5, top 10 tight end. When you have that, that's what you need to use to your strengths.
I think and a lot of that was mental. I think, you ever heard like a sports psychologist? I think when Dak Prescott, this is going to sound, as much as I love Dak, I think when you see Fred Warner, it throw him off. It's something about it. I think
I've said that.
And I think, but sometimes, look, I always say this: everything is impossible till it's not. So before, Dak Prescott would look at probably Fred Warner the last couple games and be like, "Here we go again," because of what's going on. So you can see, like, he got the yips, like he go to throw and just be like, But I'm telling you, sometimes it's like with the ankle. I'm not gonna run. I'm tentative. And then the other day he pulled that ball down and broke out and was like, "Oh, all right." Yeah. And I just think that, like you saying, like he just needs to I think he just needed to let it fly. And now he just fly. Just let it fly.
Listen to his feet. Right. Let it fly. Right. He said, I've been listening to my feet. Because that's who Dak Prescott is. Dak Prescott is an improviser. That's why he got paid. Like, you are an improvising quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is an improvising quarterback. You have to be able to, in this league, make plays off script. If you want to be top tier quarterback in this league, you have to be able to make plays off script. You have to be able to get in and out of sacks. And unfortunately, under Kellen Moore, we weren't seeing that Dak Prescott anymore, right?
He built this whole system on these option routes. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but it was just
option routes. And we didn't have, see what they talk about with Mike playing above the 2.3. Kellen did not have that. Kellen didn't have a scramble drill in his offense. That's why you just saw Dak holding the ball, because we waiting for these long ass routes to develop.
Excellent point.
Hey, you know what?
He didn't have that.
You know what I love about Mike McCarthy? First of all, like I said, I don't even get mad that he lied to the media, because
I don't either.
They need to be lied to. He either gonna hide what he has, or he gonna lie to you. So I'm good.
But I like this. Mike is stealing stuff. Y'all familiar with Foots the King? I'm sure another one.
Yeah.
And Foots was talking about the motion that Mike been running. He took that from Miami. Mike is like, pride comes before the fall. I think Kellen thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And he like, my offense is better than yours. Right. Mike is like, oh, that's working. Oh,
right.
I'm gonna use that too.
I think Mike is listening to the players as well, because the players are also looking and seeing, look at this concept, look at this. Like, let's add all of this stuff to our offense because we have the personnel to do it, right? Dak is a better quarterback than Tua. You know what I'm saying? No offense to Tua.
Crossing routes, though. We've been running all them stop patterns and option routes. When I saw Cooks catch them crossing routes, I said, oh, somebody's in Mike's ear, because that's different.
Right, and another key component to that too is the trust that he has with and like you mentioned, Star. Not only Dak, we talk about that a lot. The trust that Mike McCarthy has put into Dak, I think it's kind of been like a trickle down effect. That it shows the trust he has in Dak and the players. But with Dak having more trust in the players, he's giving them confidence. Like I said, continuing to going to them and giving them game time snaps. That's giving them confidence. So not only to bring up their game, but for, like you said, for them guys to play for Dak. And to be able to play with a purpose. Now Dak isn't necessarily left out there to make the big play, to try to carry the team, try to throw the game on his back. Yep. Now Dak has like you mentioned.
The players are playing up, dog. They playing up. Exactly. They're playing up like they never played before.
All leveling
I'm telling y'all, if y'all think I'm crazy, I'll be liking to pay attention to the interviews, because people are telling themselves. Some people are real diplomatic and Like Dak, I love Dak, but when it's interview time, it's like he ain't about to give me nothing. He about to get on my nerves. Like Dak gonna give you the.
He's very diplomatic. Yeah,
I get it. He protecting his brand, but other people, you know what I'm saying? They'll give you a little bit more nuance if you paying attention. And the other players, the defensive players, it's like when Micah first got in the league, I used to hear him talk about other quarterbacks, and just kind of like, yo man, Pat be getting busy and all this extra stuff. And then when it comes to Dak, Dak's my guy. He can get it done. It just was kind of like congealed. I think he saw in the Philly game, it was that 3-game stretch. Now 4 games after what we did to the Giants, because that was disrespectful. But, you know, that 3-game stretch where you just seen him start to get into his zone. And I think he was like, we got to do our job. It makes the defense like, nah, we do our job. We're going far. We just got to do our job.
Right. I think that's what everybody believes. Like, everybody believes this year. J-Ron just talked about that this week. Today, they released his press conference. And he's like, we just believe, like, more than we ever have.
The defense thought, we gotta.
We have to carry this team.
I don't think they feel like that no more. I think that we do our job. We goody.
Right. And I think they know, like, in the Eagles game, they let Dak down, because after that game, they all talked about how Dak is the guy and we need to play. We need to play.
We just needed one more. It ain't even like a full stop. If they held them to 1 field goal, them 2 touchdowns they scored in the third.
Right. One field goal. Just one field goal. That's it. Just one field goal. That's all we need.
Now, I think Dan Quinn needs to be like Mike McCarthy. This is my one gripe, because Dan Quinn is like, can do no wrong. Since he's on the screen, I had to bring it up.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know y'all talking about.
We're gonna talk about that. We got on his head last week because I have not been feeling him.
Rigid. He thinks he got a little Kellen in him.
Absolutely. He does. He thinks he's a guru. He's a genius.
And
I'll just keep running this out here. Moment. No one can beat me.
But don't be above reproach. Don't be above the I can make changes like
correct.
Our offense was doing like almost no motion. It was just like we gonna line up and run.
Right.
And then Mike said we gotta switch it up. I think we run man so much that Dan thinks that's the only thing to do. And I think if we start mixing in some disguise coverages and shifting into some zones.
Right. Do what the best defenses do, which is disguise coverages, Dan.
So I ain't saying in certain situations, man is perfect. Press man and everything like that. Because you want to get people home. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to play off. So in certain instances, that's fine. But all game, it gets too predictable.
It's too predictable. Like
that, and that's our problem.
Our snap counts are like 3 single high. It's like astronomical. It's like, Dan, you trying to take us back to the Legion of Boom days where y'all just sat and cover 3 all game, cover 1 all game.
We gotta be able to mix it up. You
gotta be creative. Like, you have to. And sometimes Dan is being too creative. Like,
I think if they would have left Bland on that island, I don't think. And look, I love Bland, but they left him on the island with Devontae Smith. They shouldn't have did that. That ain't even right. They should have made it harder. Philly should have had to march a little harder to get that touchdown.
Get down the field, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was exactly the block he threw down the field. So
Dan also playing our corners
over there. We should have had safety up over there.
And then you got Dan. Then you got your guys, Dan, playing 10 yards off the ball when it's a 3rd and 3. And 10 yards off the ball when it's a 3rd and 18. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's like, Dan, you gotta. But we saw there's 2 adjustments. That one adjustment I want to talk about what Mike made and adjustment that Dan made. With Mike, our offense exploded this week. Want to know why? I watched Sky's show sometime this week, and I said, "Oh, that's what it was." We're now playing CD at the X, and they put Brandon Cooks in the slot, opposed to having CD in the slot majority of the time. And that's what really took this offense up to another level.
Now, I like that everyone can move, though. I like that everyone can move. It's like,
and that's what we need to do. Like, move around the personnel. That's what interchanging the personnel. But what Dan Quinn did this week that we saw that he wasn't doing is we ended up playing Micah off ball. Now, a lot of people were like, it's been controversy. Micah, he's a DN. He needs to stay a DN. That's what he's best at. But then when you go and look, like before Micah became to the NFL and his rookie year, he played a lot off ball, and this man was terrorizing games because there's no linebacker that's quicker than Micah Parsons on our team right now. I don't care what you say. There's no linebacker quicker, taller, or with the wingspan that he has. So when you have a guy like that, and Micah may have not seemed like he seemed like he was stacked.
He wasn't happy. I just made a video about that.
He wasn't happy at all.
He wasn't happy.
He wasn't.
I like the off ball. I do, but I like it situationally. I think Micah doesn't want to come off the field. That's a Micah thing. They played Micah off ball to keep him clean because they wanted it. It's like resting Micah without resting Micah. He don't like to come off the field. I've seen him verbally complain.
Oh,
but in a blowout, he want to stay out there. Now, I think he's gonna get all he want in the coming weeks. And I do think they're going to move him back to edge in some plays. I think off ball is good sometimes, but it's like the pendulum swung too far left. Like, he played off ball a whole half. I'm like, hey, man, because he could have got to DeVito. He could have got to him, but he didn't get a chance.
Yeah, they played him. He had 10 snaps at linebacker and then like 25 at edge. So he's always going to be, they're probably always going to give him majority at edge. But look at, I know Micah didn't explode off the charts. And I think, honestly, Micah could have had more stuff, but he was also upset because he wanted to get in on the fun. You saw Dante Fallon never get. He wanted to get in on the phone. He wanted to get in on the fun.
Oh, look, squeaky wheel gets the oil. You've been seeing everybody on our team that slightly complains.
Right, Sam Williams.
Watch Micah go. They're gonna let him do whatever he want this week because when CD had his moment, they fed him. Brandon Cooks was different. Brandon Cooks complained very conservatively. Hey, look, I'm gonna just trust the process.
Right.
I understand it's coming to me. That was a complaint, but he didn't want to say it like normal. Watch Micah. Micah did the whole "I'm speechless" thing. He gonna get sent on like 85 stunts this weekend. They gonna get him.
They should do that but Micah he's most effective. He's really not most effective rushing from the ends as he is rushing from the middle. So It's like continue. That is one of Micah's strong suits. So yes, we still need to rush him. But look how good the defense looked with Micah controlling the middle of the field. And another reason why the Giants wasn't able to get off, because Micah was covering Saquon. So Danny DeVito was just like, well, can't throw there. I guess I better just hold the ball and try to see him.
Micah over there.
Darius.
Right. Right, exactly. You saw me.
I'm gonna need my bread, big dog. Y'all not about to give me no Fred Warner contract. Y'all gotta pay me like.
But he's not gonna get that. Micah's not gonna get no Fred Warner contract. Like Micah has already proven what he is and who he is. I think he needs to.
Like I do, because it'll be a stalemate. I don't want to.
It could be a stalemate
with Micah and them,
right?
But Stephen Jones he ain't want to sign Deion Sanders. He's special in the brain. He's different.
I look now with the whole Deion Sanders thing is like, no, Steven. But when Steven, y'all have to realize, like, them bad trades before I even became like a super duper Cowboy fan, that was Jerry Jones who was trading the house for players who turned out horrible. So it's like when you think about that type of stuff, Steven had to be how he is. Because you got to be a gambler, but you also got to have both. There has to be balance.
It's too far left now, though. The pendulum is bad trades, then it's Steven. We need the middle. Like, Steven, like, I ain't never going to sign a free agent ever again. It's like, hey, all right, dog. You gotta,
right, and but we see it flipped this year. Because usually the Dallas Cowboys way is, instead of going against Stephon Gilmore, let's go get this unnamed guy over here who we think may sort of be good.
Travis
and
Mullen.
Then Trayvon Mullen, and let's go get this guy over here in Steelers land or Donovan Peoples-Jones to
but it was a baby
replace
flip though, because I need to see. It don't got to be a first. I just need to see, or a large free agent signing, just like a mid-level. You know what I'm saying? And I think because we're playing. It's three sides. It's trades, free agency, like genuine free agency, and then there's draft. We're graded the draft, and we graded like bonus value signings. Because Gilmore and Cooks are still in their 30s, so you couldn't really. There's no risk. But we need to be able to throw a third or a second out there and go get a. We need to be capable of going to do what the Niners did with Chase Young. We ain't there yet. Now, I don't know if we're going to get there anytime soon because that's another, like I said, that's a whole show we can do in the offseason of why they won't do that. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. When you get scorned because you done that a couple times with Jerry just wilding and going to get Galloway and it just don't work out, you be emotionally burnt. Like, I'm not doing it.
What was that year we went out and got all those kind of bigger names? That was 2020, I think we went out and did that. What was the guy, the defensive tackle or defensive end?
Gerald McCoy.
I think it was.
Gerald McCoy, and Gerald McCoy ended up playing the snap.
He got hurt like in the blue and white scrimmage or something like that.
He got hurt. He never played a snap for us. Then we got Don Terry Poe, who just fell off the face of the earth. Woo! He was bad when he came here. Now that was like a household. Don Terry Poe was like a household name. Then he came here and was like, what the is going on? But that could have been Mike Nolan, honestly, because we gotta forget that was Mike Nolan's year. So
a trade would have helped this year. Although I'm loving the way Rico is coming on, we could have went and got Derek.
I wanted to go. That was my main guy. That's the only guy that I wanted. Really, I was like, we could go out and get a corner.
Yeah, you for Henry. Sorry, you was definitely put out there for Henry.
I wanted Derrick Henry 100%. I said, all right, well, let's go get Derrick Henry. But the Titans, they took him off the trade block.
Well, they took him off. That's different. My point is like that little move, not like OD. Like we wasn't about to like when people saying go get Devontae Adams. Come on, y'all.
And Patrick Surtain, bro, that was
right.
Like, was gonna take the house to get it. Like, come on, dog. Y'all know it's gonna take. Now, if this was Madden, I'm giving up of 2 firsts in a third. You know what I'm saying? Or a second.
Like, first of all, you could have went back and got Zeke. I would have went and got him.
I was telling Star either Zeke or even more recently Saquon because he's not happy over there in New York. Like I don't know if they probably not going to deal with a division rival, but I mean I know he's not winning here.
I would have wanted but look, Rico. After last week, maybe they knew what they was doing because Rico, I think is more so they just won't give him the ball.
Right,
let him run.
Yep, but I think they see now, and I saw Jerry this week. I said, oh, Rico definitely about to get the ball because Jerry said, because they say, what do you think about Rico, Jerry? He said, oh, yeah, he's absolutely beautiful. He runs the ball so hard. Him and Tony Pollard for sure going to be,
look.
That's a perfect 1-2 punch tandem. I said, we know Rico will be in the lineup.
Tony is getting the same treatment Gallup got. Tony is not a selfish player, and I don't think this is personal, but it's something about watching you get the ball 10 times, and it's like, I mean, and then Rico get out there and he's breaking tackles. And then I started to watch this game. Like, Tony started
running hard.
Is he running hard? Like Tony looked like he was like, nah, I ain't going down no more. I know.
Tony started running hard because at first his vision terrible. He avoiding tackles. He cutting it back when he not even supposed to cut back. But he saw Rico.
Tony called Zeke after the game. Tony said, that's how you felt last year? Yeah, that's exactly how I felt last year. When I used to come off the field and you break it for 80, everybody looking at me like something wrong.
Right.
I'm saying breaking it for 20. Tony's like,
let's get this competition rolling. Everybody push each other to be better, bro. Like play lights out. That's what we need.
Right.
And look, even with Dak, like y'all said, he'll never admit it, but it was like, oh, y'all brought that Trey Lance.
Dak was pissed off about Trey Lance. I mean,
he
was pissed off. He was like, they were like, are you surprised? He's like, no, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised anything this front office does at this point.
Nah, he was a little tight.
Are you crazy?
I'm serious.
be mad.
That's what he said. That's what he said. He was pissed off. Like, really, y'all niggas trying to play me? Sorry, say the N-word. Y'all ninjas.
Nah, like,
y'all ninjas.
That's exactly how he felt though. Like, all right, I got y'all.
But that's how Jerry is. Jerry is very. You have to prove it. Jerry, the front office they are what they see, guys. This is why I said this year, it's not on the front office. It's on the coaches. Why am I saying that? Because the coaches have the ear of Jerry and Steven. Listen to the stuff Jerry and Steven be saying. You be like, is that a stunt double? I'm like, what are they talking about? Like Jerry and Steven talking football? Yeah, because we gotta pass to set up the run. Then you actually gotta do this, and then reason why we're doing this. Why y'all think they know all of this stuff now? Because Mike is teaching them. It's up to Mike to convince Jerry and Steven. Okay, Steven and Jerry, I see this is what y'all want to do, but we actually need to do this because XYZ. Y'all built this team. We didn't go out and get more talent because we think we can win with the talent we got. Please just let us use the talent how we see fit, right?
But you know, Mike strike me as a person that he's gonna ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Right.
So Mike doing them like he doing the media. Mike like, yo man, all right, Tony gonna get the ball. I'm about to give it to Rico 10 times, and we just deal with this.
Exactly. I'm fine with Rome, I'm fine with either way. Whether you want to teach Jerry and Steven and give them a PowerPoint and say, this is why we should do this, or if you want to just say, F it, I'm about to do this and I'll get in trouble later.
That's what I'm saying. Jerry and them like, yo, get the ball to Gallup. All right.
We're winning.
I'm going to get the ball to Cooks 10 times a day. I don't know what they talking about.
Mm-hmm. Make sure that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, Mike and Dan Quinn is the one controlling they the ones who call the plays, and the assistant coaches are the ones who say, this is how many snaps we're going to give them. This is how we're going to use them. If Mike and Dan Quinn literally let Jerry tell them, I need Gallup to get this many snaps, and they listen to them and do it, that is a direct sabotage of the team, and they're no better than Kellen Moore, because that's exactly what Kellen Moore did.
It's just like
and at that
J-Ron Curse, love Hooker. Wanye Thomas been sneaking on the field a little bit. That is more so know you got a player.
Right, and you know he's on fire. For him to have a play in the first quarter when you put him in, and you haven't put him in these past weeks at all, he comes like you're wrong, like you said, Romy comes right in and has a play. Granted, he didn't catch the interception, but he has a spark play. So
the contractor making them say, you better play Hooker and them. Like, and I'm not slighting Hooker or nobody. I'm just saying the contracts say to play Curse.
Y'all know who else?
The future says to play Wanye.
Y'all know who else snaps is decreasing?
Ooh.
J-Ron Curses. His snaps have been steadily decreasing week by week by week. When we played the week 8, he was at 65, right? Then he went up to 73% versus the Eagles with 45 snaps. And then this week only had 33 snaps, 58%.
But it's rotational. I think if you smart, you do this right. You play chess. I think Curse is going to be pretty decent on certain
days. Say it, Rome. Rome taking the thoughts right out of my head. Please teach us, Rome. Go ahead and say. Go ahead.
It's going to be situational. They're going to you playing chess, right? And you playing with male egos, and everybody feel like they're the best player and everything like that. So you got to do it properly. But you just start to make it where, all right, we're going to have Curse out there because he's a vocal leader. He's a very important part of this team. But there are going to be moments where you're going to be like, yo, send Wanye out there because it's an important pass down.
Exactly.
And you know that's
all we're asking to do. And that will please Jerry and Steven. When we're not saying don't completely bench Gallup, because of course if you completely bench him, then Jerry and Steven gonna be like, that's $20 million sitting on the bench.
The greatest equalizer in sports, I hate to say it, knock on wood, is injury. Yep. And what we've been doing lately, the only place we need to insulate more is that corner. So that's why everybody been saying, hey man, y'all might want to bring Joseph back. Not because of anything, but just depth-wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I agree with you, Ron, because I don't know if anyone has really been noticing it. Really, I didn't notice it at all either, but my dad kind of pointed out when we were watching the game the other day. It seems like when Gilmore, I think a couple of times when Gilmore was getting up, he seemed like he was a little bit stiff on his left side. Like he's not using his left arm. You know, like when they're helping him up, he's not using his left arm. He was kind of stiff a little bit. So I don't know if he's fighting through anything or anything like that. But we could definitely use some depth, and not only with the cornerbacks, but with special teams too. You know, with Goodwin going down, you know, now for the year, and them having to make some adjustments with Turpin.
We may need to give some of these guys some rest.
I wouldn't be surprised if we go get somebody. I'm just saying like this, like we're insulated in a lot of good places. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for the most part, like Austin Richards, TJ Bass to show me like, okay.
Yeah, we're good there.
I'm not as nervous about the O-line youth. D-line is deep. Safety room is wild deep. Linebacker is not super deep, but it's deep enough right now.
Deep enough.
We got emergency release Micah Parsons. That's our break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah.
We got Marquise Bell. We got Damone Clark, and we got Evans. So that's pretty much, most people's linebacker rooms ain't that much deeper than that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But the cornerback room is where we're looking at a little bit,
just a little bit
shaky.
Receiver,
we deep. We saw Jalen Brooks ball out. I'm like,
when I saw him on the field, I was definitely surprised.
So I'm not. Look, I don't want nobody getting nicked up. No injuries.
No.
But like if someone twisted an ankle, we got depth. We are just fine, which makes me happy because we went from like praying that James Washington could do something to being. Like I was there. I was lying to myself. Hey man, he won the Bolitnikoff Award. He about to do that. He's not doing nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm happy that we are insulated everywhere. We even insulated a quarterback. God forbid.
And now we don't have as many questions with the running back room. You know, we know that Rico with Rico stepping up, and we know that we have Lipke who had some run in the preseason, but we know he can convert on the short yardage distances, things like that. And also Malik Davis, I know he's been waiting patiently on the practice squad, but we're kind of solidified there as well.
Mainly corner.
Yeah.
It's made. So it's not too bad. Look, I got trust in Izzy.
Oh, for sure. That's another guy I would like to see get some playing time. Right. And Jay Luke got hurt this past game, so I don't know.
But it's slot corner. That's what, because I feel like Izzy can run with, like I would have put Izzy in the game on Dallas Goedert, but that's just me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly who should have been playing. Now Izzy in the playoffs room, Izzy did play slot. He played slot against Chris Godwin, who's a pretty good slot.
Because when it's one of them little twitchy dudes, I need a little.
Now, little twitchy dudes, no, you need a smaller dude, like if you're playing like a Hollywood Brown or somebody like that, right? You need somebody that's a little bit more twitchy. So it's like if an injury does come down, you probably are going to have to put Bland back in the slot.
I would put Izzy on.
Izzy play outside.
Kittle. I would put Izzy on. And it's not that Kittle ain't stronger than him, but I do feel like Izzy can run with him.
Izzy's faster than Kittle. Izzy will frustrate Kittle. If he had to play man against him,
Kittle might body him because he's strong.
Maybe.
But I feel like Izzy can run with him. So you got to put that ball on the money. Because he's a corner by nature, so I don't think he's going to get destroyed.
No, and Izzy's huge. That's his.
He's like, 6'4",
6'5". No, who? Kittle?
No, how tall is Izzy? 6'2", 6'3"?
Izzy's like 6'4".
Yeah, that's why I would put him on them tight ends. That's exactly why.
Exactly. Izzy's huge.
With Jordan Lewis, he's just too small.
Yeah, like that. See, in that case, that was Dan Quinn's fault. Everybody was mad, like Jay Lu's getting mossed by Goddard. I'm like, Goddard is like 6'3". Jay Lu is our smallest corner. Why would you have his little butt? No offense to Jay Lu, but why you gonna have our smallest corner lined up on Dallas Goedert? Does that make any sense?
You just got to high point the ball, and it's a wrap.
Exactly,
like,
and Hurts was just throwing into the perfect spot.
Now Wanye probably can run with him, which is our point.
Yeah, he was keeping up with Waller in week 1. We really just haven't seen much from Wanye to be able to, really give examples like that. But we've seen Wanye turn up, constantly on the field. It just is a matter of
I'm not tripping. Look, I know what we can do versus them teams. I've seen us versus San Fran. Look, some games get out of hand. That game got out of hand, but in that playoff game, I know Dak wasn't.
We was right there.
We was right there. Now, look, Dak was fighting with it. He was playing all Madden with like a half a controller.
Right.
Like he had T.Y. Hilton. I know Noah Brown turning up right now. He wasn't turning up last year. I seen a whole bunch of drops last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Alligator hands, you know.
Like it just wasn't. We didn't have you gotta have a proper weaponry versus them, and I think we got it right now.
You gotta have the proper weapons, and you gotta use it. And every time we play them, we have never used our weapons correctly. Every single time, including this time when we got blown out.
Acting like they invincible. You don't throw it. Yo, Ward ain't even that nice to me. I would have been going right at him.
He's not.
Right.
And the what's his name? Demondre, whatever, Lenore,
Lenore,
right at them.
If we see them again, we're gonna light them up. I'm trying to tell you right now, because if Jordan Addison, a rookie, can light them up on his own with Kirk Cousins, what do you think Dak Prescott can do with Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb?
This is what
and Jake Ferguson.
We was playing
and Jake Ferguson.
The Browns came out with that boombox on, like, yo, I don't care. I don't care what y'all talking about. And then
don't care about Fred Warner.
The Vikings came out with a boombox too. We don't care what y'all talking about. Like, it was just out of disrespect. Like, yo, I ain't nobody worried about y'all. And that's how you gotta carry it. I don't know why when we playing, we show them so much respect. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think we, like I said, last time it wasn't about even fear. We were so mentally like, yo, it's gonna be a fight.
Yep.
And we just weren't.
We were too amped. We were too amped in that game. We gotta come down. Is that what you said? Like if it was a WWE or a boxing match, we would have won that game. We would have won that game. But when it comes to playing sound football, you got to be able to implement your physicality in the context of the sport, right?
And not just do it. Getting 3 touchdowns on us, we was not playing right.
Yeah, we wasn't playing right. Then the offense, we didn't have yet figured out. Okay, they want to sit here and try to put us in press man all game. Now we figured it out. Now, like, y'all, we wish you would play press man against us now. But at the time, we were just expecting our guys just line up and beat them. Just line up and beat them.
We weren't even moving. We were not even moving.
No motion, nothing. Like just line up and beat them, guys.
And McCarthy with the stiff play calling, like we talked about before, Star with he completely dropped the run game. So when you drop that, you kind of drop the foundation of your scheme. So if you can't get I know now we're kind of realizing we got to kind of set up the pass, set up the run. But I mean, speaking at the time, if you completely drop your run game, which we were trying to build at the time, we really can't expect to really grow anywhere because we can't get our personnel going because we don't have that base of our foundation.
Yeah,
I agree.
Essentially, I agree with that. Essentially, we did not know who we were as a team when we went in and played the 49ers. We now know who we are now.
Though. Like, I'm loving the way this season is built. I'm sorry, I know I keep going off subject.
No, it's okay.
The way this season is built is so different than some of our other years where we have a couple tough games in the beginning. We get a real soft schedule towards the end and like one game. And then we go into the playoffs like, are we ready?
Right.
We about to play so many good teams in a row.
We gonna know we're ready or not.
We're gonna know. So you either gonna take your medicine. We either gonna look up like we weren't ready. And we'll just have to live with that. But it won't be no nervousness. We'll be like,
right, we'll just know we're not ready.
We're not ready. It ain't about sweeping that all of those games. Like we go into those games, we end up like 3-2 or something like that. I'm not gonna trip. It's about how it looks. And this is why the Philly fans got us so confused. Because they're like, yo, how did you leave that game happy? And they're like, oh, you left that game happy because you just hung with us. Because that's how a rival wants to spin it. It ain't got nothing to do with that. The players felt like I did. Like, yo, y'all got a little lucky. Like, our players left that game like, that's it? Like, we felt like that's it. We know that we seen the holdings. Y'all seen the home cooking. Yeah. Y'all seen the home cooking. I'm not even tripping. I seen the hands to the face. Oh, I'm gonna pick that flag up.
And pick the flag up.
Like we saw the flag fly out. I mean, we saw the ball fly out of bounds on the pass interference.
I seen the great Lane Johnson getting beat like a drum. I seen it. I seen him holding like I can't stop this pass rush. Like,
they were getting held left and right, bogus calls, and with all of that, we still had the game in our hands to win, right?
Exactly. And to your point,
to the very last second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said to the very last second. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that the way the schedule has lined up, just like Rome said, like even before, I was kind of worried that the bye week came early, but it came really right on time for our offense and really for our defense too, for us to figure some things out with penalties and things like that. And then also, like you said, Rome, with the schedule, now we kind of have, I don't want to say a softer ride right now, but we have these games where we can, kind of, quote unquote, get right. We can see what we have in these other guys. We can get Brooks involved. We can get Cooks involved. And we can kind of build more on CD and Ferguson. And not saying we have to kind of pat the stats or anything like that. But really, it's about getting the chemistry going. For both sides of the team, they have the time, if you will, to kind of go against these teams who made. I don't want to call anybody subpar, but they can kind of get these reps in and kind of get these guys. Like we mentioned really early in the season. We had the most games we'll be able to sit our stars in the fourth quarter. So not only are these stars able to get these reps in and get ready for these games we're about to come up against at the end of the season, also our young guys can get that fourth quarter experience. And some of these teams don't quit in the fourth quarter. So they can get that game time experience and also get ready for late in the season. If we do have something come up, hopefully not, but if injuries if we do have to face, the injury bug, or we do have to go up against a tough team we're not ready for, we have to bring in somebody who we may not think is ready, but they will be ready because they've had these earlier snaps early in the season.
I mean, look at this. We got 3 games in the next 15 days, basically. Like 15, 16 days.
Yeah,
like
games. Because we got 2 Thursday games.
Right.
But then we're used to this. This ain't a new thing for a Cowboys team. We're going to play this little crazy stretch of these 3 games in the next 15 days or whatever. And then we get a mini bye we get 10 days before Philly at home.
And we're already at home for those previous 2 weeks. So it's a good time for us to start.
It's a home stretch. We're starting to do something I ain't never think I was going to see, which is build a home field advantage for real. Like I'm seeing our fans respond differently at home. That's why I'm going to be at the Dallas Philly game, because I need to be there for one of these joints. But literally I'm watching it start to develop. We're gonna put in the work on Carolina. I have no doubt. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna have a game. Washington's gonna try to do what most teams do. We're gonna try to make our season on the Cowboys. So they're gonna throw wrinkles at us, and Sam Howell's gonna try to solidify himself on that stage.
Yeah.
And he don't know that we taking it personal, because I'm still mad about last year's last game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I seen him feeling himself. I want to punish Sam Howell. Right. I'm gonna wait till we get to that, because I'm really still mad. He got a whole career out of that game. They was gonna draft somebody, and
we did. We gave that man a whole career. He sure did.
I need to reverse that. I need to throw that in the other direction. I need that game to go. They need to be questioning Sam Howell. Like, do we need to draft somebody? That's how I want that game to end. But then we got Seattle, which is a good test going forward. Because like I said, I asked y'all this question. I would rather go into the playoffs this year 11-6 and battle tested than 12-5 and on some bullshit like we've been doing.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
It ain't about a beauty contest. I want to be battle tested for real.
You just want to get to the dance.
Yeah, but I want to get to the dance properly. Like, I want to be ready for whatever. And going against Detroit, Seattle, Philly, and Miami, we're gonna get speed, physical.
Buffalo too.
And Buffalo, we're gonna get everything we want, and we're gonna know who we are. It ain't about us making the playoffs. That's gonna happen. But we're gonna get all kinds of different offensive schemes, all kinds of different.
Yeah, it's a lot of different schemes.
So we're not going to go into the playoffs like the stretch we playing now. See, that's gonna be Philly problem. That's a story for another day. They play the Giants twice. They going back moonwalk into the playoffs. They ain't gonna be ready. We gonna be on something else when we go into the playoffs. We gonna be real.
I feel you.
That's true. I mean,
like we moonwalk into the playoffs. We blow a team out by when we beat Philly by 50 or something like that.
Yeah. Then we got first round exited. Yeah, got exited.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh no, go ahead, Star.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think we just, this is a year that it is unique because things have been done that haven't been done in years, decades. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
we all talk about this is Dak, this Dak's 8th year, yada yada yada. But I'm like, Dak has never had full control over his own destiny. And we see once you give him full control over his own destiny, you get what? The quarterback that led a team who pretty much no players on offense got drafted to be the number one in the nation in college football at Mississippi State. Yeah. That's who you get from Dak Prescott because that's who he is. But when you get into systems, you face different offensive coordinators. You have coaches who don't know how to deal with politics. Because let's be honest, every freaking organization has politics. Everyone does. I don't know why people believe, San Fran don't have politics. Yes, they do. Everybody has politics. Everybody does. But it's about how can your coaches and your players deal with that? Because I'm sorry, guys, but all of the teams are ran by Anglo-Saxon rich billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not let's use our brain. Right. All of them, and everybody wants to say, Jerry's evil, all that he's done the dirt. Yeah, I don't think that these other organizations owned by these billionaires don't have dirt and skeletons. Like, come on, guys. Like,
they lost the draft pick because what they were doing over there.
Boys Club,
in Miami, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all the same, guys. So I know we want to believe that, like, our guy is the worst. Jerry's just the worst. And actually, when you look around the league, Jerry's one of the best owners because when it talks about players who love the facilities, who have the best food, who have the best all of this, it's the Dallas Cowboys. We were like number one in satisfaction. So while other people, like, they players get forced to play when they're injured, screw them up for life. They don't have proper facilities. They got to pay for their own food at the facility. Like, let's really talk about it. Like, there's so much stuff that goes on in the NFL, guys. So I just think that, like, again, it's all about, do we have the coaches with the right mindset that can handle, which I think we do. I think we have Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn who can handle Jerry's politicking and, what Jerry does when, he likes to excite the media. He likes to do things to get a buzz. But I think if you have somebody who can deal with that, then you have the players that are fully bought in to the coaches in their vision, right? And then have that that undeniable belief in their quarterback, like Rome was talking about, how it seems like all the players now have that belief in Dak.
Right.
It really is the sky's the limit. At this point, it's really like, y'all have to. They talked about it. Yeah, we play in these games. Dre Brown said it today. We played these teams and we blew them out because we should blow them out. But we have to be able to, when we know it's going to be a dog fight, we have to be able to come out with those wins. And we're about to see, can we come out with those wins?
Right. Yeah, to your point, Stars,
I'm not going to be able to go into the offseason. We've had moments where we knew we had deficiencies and we just kind of toughed it out. Like, we've had years where we were like, our defense is suspect. But all right.
We knew. We knew.
Last year, we knew our receiver room. That's why we was talking to Odell. We wouldn't been doing that if we didn't know it was suspect.
We knew it was. Exactly. We knew it wasn't right. 2021. We knew this ain't a good matchup for us. We couldn't beat winning teams that year. Mm-hmm.
Our rivals love to say, ain't going to be no excuses. And this is one of them years it ain't.
Right.
There will be no excuses. I don't plan on having to give any because I plan on us dominating and doing what we got to do. But
I think that they're just playing different this year. I think the way we talked about in previous years that we've always kind of played down the competition with these games, even with Cardinals earlier this season. Not saying we played down to them, but we came in, kind of loafing. We didn't really take them serious. So I think from then on, and then also, you add in the 49ers loss, I think it just kind of just gave them, I don't want to say the ultimate wake-up call, but they seem to finally have, like we talked about earlier, kind of stepped up, kind of leveled up. We're not playing down the competition, even though the Giants, were who they were. We kept scoring. Like, even Dan Quinn mentioned in his press conference, he even mentioned that they came out in the first quarter playing like they were playing in the fourth quarter. Like, they didn't wait. They didn't try to build up anything. They just really went, went straight for the kill, really. They weren't.
But look, the Giants, I'm tired of this whole, y'all was playing. They should have stopped trying to score. That's how I feel. Look. If y'all want to run the clock out, all right, cool. We can run the clock out, keep it light. Every time I looked up, DeVito was trying to score. Now I gotta put my foot back on your neck. Stop playing. If you want to go home, stop trying to score. But if you trying to score, I'm gonna try to score. But when I do it, it look different. Stop. Yep. So they kept trying. So we kept punishing them. If they kept punishing out of there, they should have. They knew what they needed to do to get out of there.
Run the clock out. But they didn't want to. They didn't want to lie down. Right. They didn't want to lie down, so we had to make them lie down.
Nope.
Right. But I think about, and also, guys, like, just because a team has a bad record, y'all need to look at what these teams' actual defenses and stuff is ranked, because they like to take a lot of things away from us. Like, oh, it's just the Giants. That team's 2-7, but they won't tell you that the passing defense is literally like, I think they're number 11, so they're right out of the fringe of top 10 passing defense. They did that same nonsense to Dak last year. Oh, he just beat up on the. Oh yeah, he did all that against the Bucs. He just beat the Bucs. The Bucs, they limped into the playoffs. But literally, the Bucs was a top 10 defense last year. Like, look at the narratives. We're gonna blow out the Panthers. They're gonna say, oh, it's just they only won one game they only won 2 games this year. But literally, they have a top 6 passing offense. Passing defense.
Right.
So let's stop it. They said the same thing with the Rams.
To add to your point, Star, they said that I believe Bryce Young averages, I think, 6 yards on pretty much when he rushes. So I'm not saying he's a mobile quarterback, but we know what kind of quarterbacks give us problems if we're sleeping on.
Right.
Well, we gotta go
Mike said
on their neck. We gotta not be funny. We're gonna have to break Bryce Young in half and have everybody be like, yo man, why y'all hit him that hard? Y'all know he was little. I don't care. Like,
we have to.
I'm in the mode where it's literally us against the world, and if you ain't a Cowboys fan, you're against us. I don't care about the whole there will be no fairness. Like, even this whole seems to be shifting the media. It's got a
it's all a mirage. It's all a mirage. They trying to set us up wrong, just like PFF putting all them graphics out. Oh, we look at all these grades the Cowboys players got. Now all of a sudden,
none of that.
All of a sudden, we Super Bowl or bust. Right, exactly. Right. But it's like, we can't worry about that stuff, because the media, they are pumping us up. They pumping us up, because they expect us at some time to fall. And so if we do fall, then they can be like, look at all of this y'all had, like they did in 2021. Y'all had 1,000-yard receiver and this much running back and all of this.
The crazy thing is, what they was putting up the other day, it wasn't what PFF put up today wasn't a lie. Dak is balling. Yeah, and Dwan Bland is balling. And CeeDee Lamb is like, so all the players are legit. They're just trying to claim it a certain way.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm like,
so we just can't worry about it.
Do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do.
All I want to do is keep doing what we're supposed to.
It's about us just being consistent.
And you hear that
this week, I want to go out there and I want to drop 50. I don't care. And because look,
no mercy at all.
As I tell people all the time, why care about the thoughts of people that don't like you no matter what you do?
Correct.
Whether we win by 3 or win by 50, they still gonna say we delusional and they gonna hate on us. Like I heard last week, that was a lose-lose game for us. We blow them out, you stat padding.
Yeah.
You barely win, you a fraud.
Right.
Yeah. You lose, you a super fraud.
Right.
Yeah.
There is no in between with haters. They're gonna find a way to hate. To hate on us for blowing teams out makes no sense. Yeah. When other teams do it, it's a celebration. We're the only team I know that get blown. Like, literally, when you listen to the media, they say stuff like, well, the Cowboys always blowing teams out. Listen to that. Say that out loud. That don't even make sense to say it
in a negative light.
Always blowing
we're the
teams
only we're the only team in the NFL that has, 4 to 5 games? It's probably going to be
now
another
5.
game.
Now it's 5.
Our starters are sitting in the 4, but they're acting like that's just a normal thing and any NFL team can do it. We literally have the biggest. What we did to the Giants, that hasn't been done in 60 years. But then anybody can blow out the Giants.
I saw the Eagles get more credit for barely beating the Rams than us blowing them out. It was like, look how resilient they are. They're how to win ugly. And I'm like,
win ugly against the Rams?
But when we win by 30, y'all just stat padded. You know they're welcome to stop us. You can stop us from scoring if you would like. You can stop us.
It's not happening.
If the Giants wanted to stop us from scoring 49, they should have did it. They stopped everybody else from scoring 49.
They sure did. They stopped everybody else, just like the Rams only had gave up 4 touchdowns before Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdowns on them in one game.
Exactly. What's the name? Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. I think they were like top 7 in offense coming to the game when we played them. And I think we held them under 200 yards each.
Yeah, they had 64 yards combined. So it's like, just stop
it.
It's all good. Look, we gonna, like I said, this weekend we're gonna handle our business. It's not that we should overlook. We should play the Panthers like they did Niners.
Right.
Yep.
And then we're gonna steamroll. So we need to take this seriously. We need to punish them and do our
very
thing.
seriously.
And then we'll get to we need to take Washington seriously. When I come out and say we're gonna punish teams, it's not that I'm overlooking them. It's that I know when we play to our full ability, they ain't got a shot.
We are right. They don't have a shot.
You know what I'm saying?
Same thing with Washington. You know, Washington's gonna play up.
They're gonna play their hardest.
This prime time. The Panthers gonna play their hardest. They got Frank Reich said he calling plays this week, and Mike said in his press conference, he said they do a lot of all that stunting and stuff that the Chargers do. The Panthers do the exact same thing, even at a higher level. So this is not going to be. If we want to win this game, we've got to, and we want to blow them out like we're supposed to. We need to play to our full potential.
We need to
play. I agree with you on that, Star. And just like you guys mentioned earlier, I don't think the record is indicative of who they are. I'm not gonna say they're not a sorry team, but I think they do have some namesakes over there. They do have Adam Thielen, who came from the Vikings. They do have Hayden Hurst. I think he came from the Browns. I'm not 100% sure.
They got Brian Burns. They got real people. They got real Pro Bowl, all pro players over there. So let's not just act. They're not just bums out there. And they're definitely gonna throw the kitchen sink at us, like everybody does to play Dallas. It doesn't matter how bad their record is. Everybody wants to beat Dallas. Right. Everybody wants to beat us. So they're
gonna play so many playoff teams in the next month or two.
Right.
We're gonna be battle tested.
And if we knock them off, bro,
I can't wait. Like last couple years,
line them up.
Right. Like D-Law said, you line up, you get effed up.
Last year we did what? Washington. Last year, the last 3 games, they was sleepwalking.
Right.
Yeah, because we played Tennessee, then we had somebody else, then we had Washington.
The Texans, I think it was.
Right. Oh, yeah. And Mike had said, he was like, I didn't like how we played last year versus Tennessee or Washington. We did not play well.
We playing around.
We did not play well at all.
Detroit gonna try and blow our head off when we play them. Like I'm telling you.
And Detroit is nasty, and they're very physical, ground and pound. We gonna injure you, all types of stuff.
I'm glad.
And they're gonna be fighting for wins too on their side of the division. They're gonna be fighting.
Detroit's legit though. I watched Detroit versus the Chargers. Now their defense still not that great.
I'm not nervous about Detroit because I know one thing about my quarterback, and I know I didn't even know we went going that long. We went almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we should let out. We've been on here rolling.
Something about, like I said, when Dak when he plays certain teams and he know I can get busy versus y'all, I don't know why. It's just like we played differently. Last time we played Detroit, they scored 3.
Yeah.
Last year. So I know some players are
that's true.
I would have said they see that the Vikings are kind of sneaky right now, and we know the NFC, right now just a little bit wide open. So I think, like you said, they're gonna be playing really tough down the line because they pretty much have it together right now. But we know they're gonna have their key pieces down the stretch. So that's definitely, and they usually play us pretty tough. And we saw how they played us last year. So
they play us tough every year. They feel good.
We got legitimate veterans that. I think there's been times where we just was green. We weren't quite ready for the moment. But from Cooks to D-Law, I'm talking like the real vets
we got real vets. Yeah,
we got real vets that are just these moments ain't too big for them.
No, they're ready for the moment. They're ready for the moment. They welcome the moment. And there are teams that are really good, but it's like. I don't know if y'all are quite there yet. Like, I definitely consider somebody like Detroit and Seahawks. I consider those teams for sure playoff teams. But I'm like, do they have all it takes right now to win a Super Bowl? I don't think so. I think they have a lot of young talent. Like Detroit, reason why they're humming is because you got Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams. You got all these young, they got all these young, high-flying guys. But one thing them guys don't got, they haven't been battle-tested. They ain't never played in no big games or nothing like that. When they did play it against a big team like the Ravens just shut the life out of them.
Got us on Monday night.
And they pretty much had like a slugfest with the Seahawks. Yeah, I think they were going back and forth with the Seahawks. So I think Seahawks came out with the win at the end. I'm not 100% sure, but
no, they beat the Seahawks. Seahawks. Okay. I think they beat them to kind of hand. Let me see what the Lions schedule. They've been whooping up on some teams like.
And the rest of their schedule, I think that they have a pretty light schedule, compared to other teams.
Oh yeah, the Seahawks did. You're right, Mickey. The Seahawks did beat them.
Yeah, I think it was like an overtime win or
it was overtime. The Seahawks won 37-31. Yeah, they beat them.
Check out barely beat in the stage we on. Check out how our year end. We got Washington on Thanksgiving. We got Seattle Thursday night football. These is national games. We got Philly 8:20 Sunday night football. Then we got the Bills game of the week and the Dolphins game of the week.
Christmas Eve,
So these are all game of the week games at 4, where everyone is watching. Then we got the Lions on Monday night football. We're not only going to be battle tested, we're on the biggest stage for the
stage.
So the next month we're on the biggest stage. So when we get to the playoffs, there will be no butterflies.
Right.
No.
We're playing on standalone games for the next month.
And to you guys' point, not to cut you off, but
that's a good point, Rome. I didn't even realize that, but yeah, that's true. Go ahead.
And to your point, Star, like you mentioned, like not only are they ready for the moment, but they've been, to these moments, quote unquote, and through these moments to where either they didn't succeed. Yeah, where they didn't succeed or it didn't work out, or so they had to kind of take a look at themselves, and also the young guys too. The young guys were there. They got to experience what it felt like to have a letdown. So like you said, like everything, like really, like you mentioned, Star, everything about this year, and you too, Rome, like the way the schedule is built, it's like the way everything is kind of building up. It's a learning lesson for the guys, and not only for the players, but the coaching staff, and they're also able to plan accordingly.
Yep. I think we've faced the hardest teams already in the NFC. Philly and 49ers. Yeah. So to me, it's like it's just up. The only way we can go is up. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't get no lower than getting disgraced by the team that beat us, has sent us home 2 years in a row in playoff. Like it can't get no worse than that. So it's like It's like when you be so scared of something and you just experience it and be like, all right, it wasn't that bad. Like just move on, because that's really the worst thing. The worst thing that could have happened is we get blown out by San Fran. It happened.
Right.
Yeah. And what happened? The sun still rose. It's another day. It's like you just move on. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And that's exactly what the team has done. And I think with everything, even if we lose any of these games, right, the team is not going to lose faith because they know who they are. They know that we have what it takes to beat. We know that we have what it takes to beat the NFC elite. We know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about us putting it all together, go out there and do it and produce. That's pretty much where we at. Yeah. Hopefully, Philly drop a couple of games so that I really would love for us to have home field advantage because we've been destroying teams.
Yeah, I think we're averaging 30, 35 points at home for our home games. I think. We're truly,
Rome said, like we truly have a home field advantage. Like we really do. Like it's just different, like how we play at home. So of course, I want the home field advantage. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, even if we don't get that, the way our schedule is set up, like we are going to be super battle tested, and we're going to be ready to go.
I tell you one place I don't mind going to play though. Because it's just fields I know we're used to. I'll go to Detroit because they play inside.
Yeah. I'm not ready. Yeah, I'm not worried about Detroit. I'll go to Detroit. I'll go up to.
We play inside.
I'll go up to Seattle. I'll go up to where I don't care, like wherever they want to play. You know what I'm saying? Right. We gonna have a. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say I would love to play San Fran in our house again.
Oh, but
yeah. We gotta go there. We gotta go there. But I don't feel like this is going to be rare. If we do face them, I don't think we're going to face them first round. I don't think it's going to line up like that. I know who I think we're going to face first round if we don't win the division. It's either one or the other. We're either going to win the division or we're going to get the NFC South.
Yeah.
We're gonna be the fifth. We're gonna get the South.
Yeah, either we're gonna win the division or we're gonna be the fifth seed. That's so. Yeah,
if we can't beat the Saints and the Falcons, then we got bigger problems.
Yeah, just right. Or the Saints and Falcons or the Bucks.
Right.
I mean, whoever. So it's like that should be a shoe in.
We'll be facing our real challenge the next. If we don't win the division, we gonna get one of those. I ain't kind of trying to call them cupcakes. I'm just saying it's not gonna be what we wanted to be until the next round.
Right.
The round we love to hate, the divisional. The round we love to hate.
Right. I was gonna say, to your point, Rome. To your point, the Saints and the Falcons both playing domes as well. So that would definitely be.
I'll go. We can go to New Orleans.
Right. Luckily, we should not have a cold playoff game. But even if we do somehow have a cold playoff game, which I don't think that's going to happen, but even if it's possible, we got to go to Buffalo in the middle of December. It's going to be a snow globe. It's going to be a snow. Right. It's going to be a snow globe out there.
And Washington, speaking just for the East Coast, and you too, Rome, you know how we get cold, in January on the East Coast. So
right now.
That game in January is no joke. Yeah, I know they bring heated benches and all that, but it still be cold outside.
It's going to be freezing cold.
So it's like Washington this year. That win last year, I know I keep bringing it up, pissed me off so much.
We gotta see.
I got too many friends as Washington fans that took it seriously. I'm like, we wasn't playing for real.
Right.
So exactly. At all.
They swear they just beat us down. I'm like, we wasn't trying.
I really would love. I mean, it's a long shot. This the one game I'm nervous about is the Bills game, just because we got to go to Buffalo in the middle of Buffalo and play elements that we're not used to. But I would love to beat out of Buffalo. I'm not gonna lie, just because remember in 2019 when Buffalo ruined. Yeah, they ruined our Thanksgiving. I would love to blow, and for them to dead this Josh Allen versus Dak conversation. If we go to Buffalo and beat Buffalo,
that'd be putting the nail in their coffin, really, because there's already whispers of them not making like you said yesterday, Star, or the day before, of them possibly not going to the playoffs. So that would just really be the nail in their coffin, late in the season.
Yeah, they're in a bad.
I don't like to predict losses though. I plan on winning all these games. I don't like that.
Yeah, I want to win. I want to win all of the games. You know what I'm saying?
The loss out there happen. I don't predict losses. So
right. So I'm never gonna predict a loss. I don't do that. I don't. I'm with you, Ron. I don't predict we gonna lose that game. I don't believe in that. Yeah, I believe as a man thinking, so is he. So you got to go in saying we gonna win. Now if you lose,
we 14-3 and
deal with it.
Right.
It is.
I would love. Yeah, that's what I predicted. I predicted us to go 14-3. So that means we going 9-0, 8-0.
It'll be the best battle tested 8-0 period, because we ain't playing no cupcakes. This our last cupcake.
Team's gonna be they're gonna be in extreme fear. I think when Philly play us again, I mean Philly's going through what we gotta do at the end of the season. Philly's going through that gauntlet right now.
That's how I know
and they've been skating by. They've been skating by every opponent they play. So
I heard content creators say, we don't even need to win the Dallas game for real, so it don't matter. When you say you don't need to win, you already in your mind like we probably gonna lose.
We gonna lose that game.
You see how they kind of. We were just talking about how we don't predict losses. They already kind of plan their losses a month ahead. That's what y'all doing.
They know we ain't nothing nice. They like, we don't even really need that game. I know you don't.
Right. Well, I mean, we saw a week before we played them a couple weeks ago.
They saying that now, but I'm telling you, they dropped this game against Kansas City in Arrowhead.
It ain't no if.
Right. Wrong. Say it again, wrong.
And then we too many QBs that I put above Dak. I rock with some QBs. Like I like Burrow. I like Pat. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Ferguson getting busy. Travis Kelce about to go over 200 yards.
Yeah, I like Travis Kelce.
Yeah, the Eagles have had problems with tight ends. Really,
they about to go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're coming off a bye week. I don't know if it was this past week or the week before, but they're coming off a bye week.
And the Chiefs have a top 5 defense. Like the Chiefs aren't really playing this. They're not really playing this year. They're not really playing this year. So if the Eagles scoot out of this game with a win,
the Eagles are used to getting calls, right? The Eagles used to getting calls. But you ain't getting
not
calls.
Arrowhead, you won't. Not in Arrowhead, you won't.
You get calls in Philly. You're not getting calls versus Pat.
Right, just like you said, Star. That right, like you said, it's never the defense has never really been a staple of the Chiefs. So for them to be playing up right now, for the words to come out of Patrick Mahomes' mouth to be like, well, once we get the offense on board, we good. Like you never heard that. So like one thing, like for them to already be, barely kind of. I know they had the L to the Broncos, but they had,
and that's a thing too. Like Pat, Pat, he become a different person on the field. He had a meltdown and looked horrible versus the
right. He's not gonna use the excuse of I was sick or this happened. He's not gonna. They didn't use the excuse after week 1 when they lost. So like you said, he's not saying he's a get back type person, but he takes those personally and to another level.
I don't even need them to lose. This is the funny thing. People think I just need them to lose 1.
Yep.
So when that game happens, we'll get the tiebreaker because we get that
in this next stretch. That's all we need. Like go ahead and drop 1.
Now I think they can drop 2.
I think they can drop 2. I think they can drop the KC one for sure. And there's another game that I think they could drop.
I know they play the Niners and the Bills coming up.
It's the one Niners. On the road. It's the one Niners. On the road. You get the Niners and the Bills at home. So they'll get some home cooking. But I think the Seattle game is sneaky on them. Because some teams,
Seattle coming up next too.
Some teams you don't play well, like us and the Cardinals for some odd reason.
Right.
Look, do it because I'm a student again. I'll be looking at do a Google search on them versus Seattle. I don't know what it is, but Seattle also got
got their number.
Because the Cardinals, I don't care who playing.
Yeah, I think it's been like 8 years. I think it's been like 8 years since we beat them. So that was definitely a historical type. That has influence on the game as well.
And look, they get that game. They're gonna be looking in the mirror because they like who gonna cover AJ, who gonna cover DK, because DK is an animal.
And Lockett's still turning up too. And they got I think the new draft pick. I think he's back too in Jigba. So
we get to play all these teams. We playing like half the playoffs. We play the Eagles.
Rome not lying, bro. Rome not lying. They lose against the Seahawks. They ain't won against the Seahawks since 2000. They have not won a game against the Seahawks since 2008, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Certain teams should be having your number. So,
wow.
If they drop that 2,
I didn't know that. That's crazy. Wow.
Y'all be surprised what type of stuff I'll be researching.
I'm going to cut you off, but are they playing in Seattle or are they playing at home?
They're playing in Seattle.
They're playing in Seattle.
Wow. And that's not a game. That's not a game you can overlook. Like I'm telling you, that's a game.
But also, even though they get calls, the 49ers know what the Eagles sent them home last year because they didn't have their quarterback.
The 49ers better not do like we do. We came into that game too emotional and got beat.
Right.
If the 49ers come into that game too emotional, they're gonna get beat.
Yeah.
When you over emotional, let me be emotional. I'm on YouTube. You need to be focused.
That's true.
If the 49ers come into that game, the 49ers is mad at them like we was mad at the 49ers.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So they
That's
come
true.
That game
That's
super
true.
emotional and they mess around and get beat.
That's true. They can get their butt beat real bad.
Then they mess around and get beat by Buffalo. They got so many people in a row. See, we got people in a row too, but it's a little bit different. First of all, we ain't got the Chiefs, and I don't want to deal with Pat, so that helps.
Right.
And part of our gauntlet, no disrespect, I'm not worried about Detroit. I'm just not worried about.
No, I did not. I'm not worried about Detroit.
Honestly, Miami looking, not as scary anymore either. Honestly,
I've seen us versus Detroit. Like I got a recent, and I'm like, even if the game evens up some, I'm just not afraid of them. We held them to 3, so even if they score like 20, we scored like 48 in that game. And Detroit's defense ain't that. They ain't not to me. I don't know. I'm not terrorized.
No, the Detroit's defense is no match. It's a bad. When you say a bad matchup, we're a bad matchup for Detroit. We're just not a good matchup for them. Like they are a very good team, but we're not a good matchup. Their running scheme plays right into our hands. They got Jahmyr Gibbs, but I mean, we have speed. We're probably one of the fastest defenses in the league.
Yeah.
Their wide receivers are nothing to be. I mean, Jamison Williams, he's fast, but that's basically a rookie because he missed all last year. Then you've got St. Brown. He's good. He's just like a slower.
That's who was out last year. We didn't. They didn't have St. Brown when we played him.
Right, so but he's a slower though, less talented Cooper Kupp. That's how I think of Amon.
But my point is, them at full strength, I like my chances. I have no nerves.
Right. No. I'm not worried about Detroit. I'm not really worried about the two games that you should be concerned that maybe is really the only game that I see as potentially could drop is Buffalo and Buffalo. But the rest of them, I'm not really worried about the Dolphins anymore either because I don't think the Dolphins. We clearly see that if you get after that O line, which isn't great. I mean, they've had so many injuries. Tua can't do much. No offense.
It's something about going to Miami. You be just chilling too much. It's something about us going to Miami. They better stay focused. Players like Sam Williams in Miami worries me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, it's certain players I'm like, I wish we was playing at home. I don't want to deal with them in Miami overnight. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. They need to fly in like day of. They don't need to do no overnight. They need to fly in the day of.
Go play, beat them, and then leave out of there. And we do have to know the Eagles got a decimated Miami. We're most likely gonna play Miami full strength.
That's good.
Yeah, because they didn't have Xavier Howard. Yeah, they didn't have their center. They didn't,
Jalen Ramsey, their O line. Everybody gonna get healthy like they always do for Dallas. All of a sudden they healthy.
I want them healthy. I don't want no sleepwalking into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's like everybody full strength. But we need to get off of here. We've been out here almost 2 hours.
We'll run it back again. I appreciate it.
Most definitely, Ron. We definitely appreciate you coming on with us. Spending your time. Shout out to you. Shout out to Cowboy Nation for listening in. And I gotta say it again. Shout out to you, Ron, for coming on. We really appreciate you coming through. And I don't know if you guys know. I'm sure you guys, if you heard through Rome's live, he says he's going to be going out to the Carolina game this weekend. I'm going to be heading out there this weekend as well. So I'm trying to get some clips of the game. Hopefully, be able to show you guys. And hopefully, you mentioned earlier, Panthers going to be. I think this is my opinion, a little bit tougher than the Giants, but because they have some names over there. But I think like we were talking about before, the guys are going to handle their business, go into their offense. And just quickly before we get out of here, just kind of give your quick thoughts on the game and what you guys think we'll do. I just give it mine real quick to go ahead and get out the way. I think McCarthy is still going to get in his bag, kind of feature more of our personnel. I don't know if we talked about earlier. I don't know if we talked about off screen or not, but I want to see more Jalen Brooks. I want to see more Rico Dowdle because I never not going to see Brooks later on down much this season. But I like what he offers. I like this, it's new and refreshing. I like that we're getting, like I said, getting these young guys in here, getting more playing time. Wanye Thomas as well. I hope that, Dan Quinn, kind of takes, what he did, and last week, Evans as well. I think we're on a sign at this point, but I just want to see more of these guys who haven't had that much time on the field, just kind of, again, this kind of a little bit of slate of run of games, just kind of get our team, not offensive defense, just our team going a little bit. And I know we're talking about offensive defense just real quick, but shout out to the special teams, also contributing because I know they don't get a lot of love a lot of time. But I was listening earlier today, listening to Girls Talk, Boys Talk, and they kind of shouted them out, letting them know what they're doing. We've seen Turpin and them having to adjust, losing Turpin for a little bit of time, bringing in Sam Williams as a gunner, and as well Bones Fossil having to adjust. So just them contributing, with the returns and with the blocking, also bringing, not what other many teams, can bring. We saw earlier in the year them making, I think it was a blocked field goal, and we even seen last week they were getting really close to blocking punts. So I think once they get more as well, I think this week was close to blocking a punt. So I think just getting these young guys involved is really what I want to see, going forward, really.
Look, I'm with you. This is a pass rush game. I'm telling you right now, it's one of those things where the game will be won before it gets started because they're going to terrorize Bryce Young. They're going to he's not going to be able to get comfortable. I know Frank Reich took over play calling. I don't know if y'all caught that little tidbit. Somebody always trying to do something. They want to wear their new school clothes. It's either a new uniform or a new offensive wrinkle every time we play somebody. So Frank Rice will try to implement the RPO, and I seen him running a little bit. We're going to break Bryce Young. He might leave this game hurt. I ain't trying to be mean, but our local media is disrespecting Micah, saying is he running out of gas, and he's gonna go out there and it's gonna look like Lawrence Taylor back in the day. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna terrorize that little boy, and then the offense is gonna reap the benefit. Like, he got to eat some oatmeal or something in the offseason. He's just too little. So we're gonna, like, that's what I'm looking forward to, and I think Rico will hit 100 yards this week. I just think that we're going to continue that trend. We're going to probably. It's still politics. We'll split carries, but you give Rico about 10 to 12 carries, he's gonna hit 100.
Yeah, that's absolutely, that's all he needs. I agree with Rome. Both of y'all really. I think this is gonna be another game where we're gonna be able to sit our starters in the fourth. I do think we have to do what this team's identity is: playing aggressive. Yeah. When we play aggressive, we win, and we win big. That's on offense and defense. So play aggressive. Do what you do best until they can say, okay, we can stop it, and then you've got to have counters for that. So I think that's what I think we know we got to have counters. The 49ers game showed Dan Quinn that, because Micah said after that game, he said, it's like, nothing was working. It was like Shanahan just had our number. Everything we tried, Shanahan had a 1-up. So Dan Quinn knows you got to have counters. Mike knows you got to have counters. But Mike also knows what makes his offense work, what makes his offense tick. We know ourselves. So because when you know yourself, you can go out there and you can put the best production on the field. So I definitely think this is going to be another game. I think Dak's probably going to throw. He's going to air it out and probably throw for another 400 yards. Right. He's probably going to be the first quarterback in history to have, I don't know, this many.
5 games. I think now. I think he has 4 games right now with 400 plus yards.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me? Sorry. Siri activated herself. But anyway, it's probably going to be another game. Dak going to throw for 400 yards. Like, this stuff is crazy. Like, I think this is a year. I could just be saying this, but I think I said this at the beginning of the year. I said this is going to be a year where all of Dak Prescott's doubters and haters and everything, like, he's just going to obliterate it. It's going to be undeniable. You know, I heard someone, I think, shout out to West Coast and Landlord and Henny DeMore, shout out to them. But they were, West Coast was like, y'all know they ain't going to let no Dallas Cowboys player win MVP. I'm like, I think with the way Dak playing, it's just going to be unquestionable. And I think Dak is really going to solidify himself as, people always say, oh, he's good, but he's not this guy. He's not. I think Dak is really going to solidify himself as potentially one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game this year, like in NFL history.
If he dominates that stretch, the MVP is his.
No question. No question at all.
You beat them. If you beat them teams, it's yours. Like, it's in his hands. If he beat Philly, Buffalo, Miami, and Detroit, the MVP is his.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll be so undeniable that it's like it's going to be his. And I think just look at it. All the narratives, it's really Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore over there losing with Justin Herbert.
Right.
So that's dead. Justin Herbert better than Dak, beats him 2 years in a row. That's dead. He gets an opportunity. People say, oh, well, he's not Josh Allen. He has a potential to dead that. Like, you have the potential. You have your destiny's in your hand to dead up. Dak there was no one else drafted from his offense, right? No one else. There was a couple of guys that I think made like the practice squads or a couple of teams, like maybe like one offensive line or something like that. This man was knocking off the top teams in college football one after another. Dak has that in him. And I think when he's able to get back, like we've seen, it's like, oh, Dak is back. He's back to who he is. I think he's really everybody's gonna shut the hell up this year. Like, just shut the hell up. It won't be, you won't be asking these questions anymore, because he'll get to a pinnacle that these guys haven't even been to. You know what I'm saying? So I think we just got to continue to be consistent. And, you know, as they said, Carpe Omnia, they got our thing up there. What will this year be?
Yeah.
It's in our hands. You know, they just got to go out there and
we got to handle our business.
Yep.
Yeah, period. Yeah. Well, hey, thank you, Cowboy Nation. Thank you, Stargazer Sports. Thank you, CFT, aka Rome, for like I said, joining us for this time. You know, giving us great content. Like, hey, 2 hours, y'all. Like, you can't ask for nothing better than that, y'all. For real.
Yeah.
Now, I think we came with it tonight. So, like I said, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for spending your time. Before you guys get out of here, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit subscribe, and just, you know, like I said, thank you for your time. Hope you guys have a great rest of the evening, and we're gonna check you guys later.
Y'all have a good night.